Hello, everybody, and welcome to the September episode of askLRR. I will be your host today. My name is James, and I am joined by Serge.
Hello, good morning.
And Santa Claus.
I'm here from the North Pole to bear gifts of answering your questions. Ho, ho, ho.
Damn. This is a good get. We got Santa Claus, y'all. Santa Claus.
Our Zoom calls are a little bit fuzzy sometimes, but happy to be here.
Sweet. It's Nelson for the people who are only listening and not watching. And
you lied to me?
There's a green screen gag with the North Pole. It's a whole thing. You should go check it out on YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, YouTube memberships, which is where we get these questions from. And I'm going to be honest, we didn't get a whole lot of questions this month. So if you are a YouTube member, which I know there are more members than we got questions this month, if you are, be sure to ask a question. You'll find a link in the description below for where to go to ask those questions. Heather posts something in the community tab that is only visible by members every month for you to ask questions. She lets you know who's going to be there. It's a whole system. It works really well, but we need you to go and ask questions. And if you aren't a YouTube member and you want to ask questions, well, then hit that little join button below. Give us some dollary dues every month, and you get to ask us questions. And chances are we'll answer them if they are good. So, ask questions. YouTube membership. Thank you. You're great. Also, of course, thank you to everybody over at the Patreon, over at patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun. Huge amounts of support over there. Thank you so much. Couldn't do this without you. Hearts. Hearts.
Santa Claus says, do your homework, YouTube members. Ho, ho, ho.
All right. Well, we already have a shtick for this episode, so that's great. But I guess let's just get. You know what? No, let's not get started with the questions yet. Serge,
are you being a naughty boy, James?
How's your day?
My day's doing good, actually. I had family visiting for a long time. To be honest, I was a little bit worried about, if they were going to respect boundaries, and it was absolutely lovely. It was just like really, really, really nice. Everyone was chill. After not having gotten to see anybody for over 18 months, it was really, really, really nice.
No, and it's only 9:43 a.m. and you did all of that today. That's
impressive. Oh God, yeah, I'm very efficient, James.
Very efficient.
Yeah.
Nelson?
I don't know if I've been up for as long as Serge, but yeah, fairly productive morning. I don't know. I don't think, as of the time I left my house, I don't think my puppy had peed or pooed inside. I think we got them all
you have
outside
a puppy
today. Yeah, I've got a new little dog. She's not here on the podcast, but
what's her name?
Her name's Nissa.
Nissa.
My family let me call her Nissa. Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's so great.
So hung out with her, hung out with the kids, made them some waffles. Saturday morning here at time of recording.
I need to not live here and live with Nelson. You get puppies and waffles on a Saturday morning? Like, come on.
Yeah. All right. Well, if we start a commune, you're invited, James.
Hell yeah.
Hey, James.
Yeah.
How's your morning?
It's good. I got my new phone set up. I have a nice new shiny iPhone 13 Pro.
Why do you
very
have 4
excited.
cameras?
It's only 3 cameras.
Oh, what's the
2
fourth
flashes?
smaller lens?
I think that's the flash or the LiDAR or I don't know. Maybe that's the camera the government uses to watch me. Who knows? So I'm excited about that. And I finished posing my little new robot baby, which I'm very
you're all about
excited
the Gunpla nowadays, aren't you?
It's so much fun.
That's your third Gunpla?
It's my third robot baby, and it's just super chill, and it's a ton of fun. And I'm really enjoying it. So
how long before Lur gets into model trains and we just have a track that goes all around the moon base?
Up on the ceilings and through the T-bar tiles and down through the
and then
studios.
We attach lights and cameras to it for more dynamic shots.
We're getting old. We're gonna realize that if you like building Gunpla models, you're gonna like building model trains.
Model trains are so the hobby store that you can buy Gunpla in the city also does model trains.
Yeah,
they are wildly expensive.
Yep.
It's absurd how much a caboose costs.
It's just because of spare boomer money, I'm sure. It's not that they're any more to make than Gunplas.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, pleasantries are out of the way. Let's jump into these questions. First one is from Eric, which says, what's one of your favorite things about fall? And I will say it is the third day of fall here in Victoria or in the Northern Hemisphere. I would say it's still like late summer, very early fall in Victoria.
I hate to correct you. Technically, fourth day, the solstice was, or the equinox rather, was the 21st. It's the 25th.
No, it was the 22nd.
It's the 21st. It's always the 21st. It's how the equinox and the solstices are on the 21st.
Google
boys. You're both being naughty.
What do you mean Google
James,
it?
you got the day wrong.
Was
Serge, you're actually your friend.
Equinox.
I mean, I didn't want to...
Do it.
What do you mean the 22nd?
Some years it's the 22nd.
How freaking dare you, internet? How could Google be wrong? Hold on.
Get your Farmer's Almanac for Christmas this year.
I thought they were always on the 21st. I thought that's literally how it worked.
I'm going to be honest with you, Serge. I also thought that, but both the spring and fall equinox have been on the 22nd this year, and I don't know why. I'm sure there's there's a reason for it.
Leap year. It's because of leap year. Probably.
Sure. Let's blame the leap year.
Why does it fall on different dates? In reality, it can happen... Oh, okay, the spring one, not just the 21st, can happen on the 19th, 20th, or 21st.
Oh, Serge's brain is exploding. Do we need to call a farmer? Farmers would know.
Yeah, get a farmer on the line, Jay.
Yeah. Or a druid.
Unfortunately, I don't know any farmers. Anyways.
Yeah, I'm closing Google. I can't right now.
Serge, what's your favorite thing about fall?
Serious answer or joke answer?
Let's go joke answer first.
Let's do both, but then make us try to figure it out.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Okay, all right. Okay, so same delivery.
Uh-huh.
Scarves.
Uh-huh.
My legs are no longer sweaty.
I'm gonna say that the serious answer is the leg sweat thing.
Leg sweat. Serious answer.
Because I feel like it's a little early for scarves in Victoria in the fall. Although it might be. You do get cold pretty easily.
I feel like Serge does wear scarves.
He does. Oh, he definitely does wear scarves because Serge gets very cold.
Wait. I'm backing it up.
Okay.
They're both serious answers. Oh. I'm calling foul play. Serge mind gamed us into thinking that there was a red herring, but there's not.
What a jerk. Okay, Serge.
The serious answer is scarves. The less serious answer is my legs getting sweaty.
Oh,
so there's this in-between period between summer and fall, the transition that we like to call it, or the falling of temperatures. Hey, where
is that why they call it the fall?
Wait, well, hold on.
Oh, it all makes sense now.
Get a farmer on the line.
That was pretty good. I almost spit coffee all over the streaming computer.
Yeah, because I think it's cool enough to wear jeans, and then I hustle somewhere, and then my shins are sweaty in jeans, and there's nothing more uncomfortable than having sweaty legs in pants. If I was wearing shorts, I wouldn't care. But it's that I get debated by the weather, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but serious answer, scarves.
All right. Nelly.
One of my favorite things about fall is the Ristic Studies video on Guilds of Ravnica.
Okay.
Like,
I watch it every year now.
Direction and Magic a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, that video came out whenever it was 3 years ago or something, and it was just like, oh yeah, this is all right. And like everything he was talking about, I was like, oh, I can see it now. I think there's some baseline level of appreciating this when I first opened the packs, but I didn't notice it as much as you're explaining, right? Like, oh, right, it's called Night of Autumn and stuff. Oh, yeah, there's all these colors. And like, it looks like that to evoke this sense of like, comfortable decay, right? Like the natural, the fall experience, right? Everything's dying a little bit.
Yeah.
But we're not mad about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah. Go check out Ristic Studies if you haven't already.
What about we're all dying, but we're not mad about it.
That was a very subtle sip of your coffee there. Mm-hmm. You want to bring that mug back in the shot for just a second? Oh. Very nice.
I definitely had this answer prepared. I actually did though. I did have this answer prepared before I grabbed this Ristic Studies mug out of the Moonbase cupboard. We like Sam a lot, it turns out.
He's a good dude. Yeah,
dude, pretty cool dude. Other things I like about fall. I like watching the struggle over pumpkin spice. I don't actually like the pumpkin spice myself a lot.
Yeah.
But I do like to watch the pumpkin spice war.
The discourse?
I like people taking each other down. And then there's the next level of like, stop taking people down for like a pumpkin spice. And then I'm like, okay, how many turtles up can we go on this?
Yeah.
So
are you a fan of the John Oliver pumpkin spice bits that they do every year?
Oh, I'm like caught up on the last year worth of weekend up to now. That last week tonight, thank you. But I don't know what the pumpkin spice bits are. I haven't been watching it for years.
Okay, you should go Google the pumpkin spice bits, pumpkin spice latte bits from last week tonight. This year's was particularly good.
How about you?
So, my birthday. Not really. I don't actually care. It just seems like the obvious answer because it is in October. I mean, the actual answer is just the weather, specifically in Victoria, especially like late afternoon. Like, I don't think there's anything that beats a like golden hour walk in the fall in Victoria on when it's not raining. Because obviously we do get a decent amount of rain here, and the fall tends to be pretty wet. But it's also just crisp and gorgeous and great sunsets, and it's just great. That's my favorite part. Just late afternoon walks in the fall are fantastic, and I look forward to doing them very soon. So, all right, that was a good first question. Next question coming from Nap for Nelson and Serge. Do you have any advice for a future Magic judge?
Yes, we do. Do you want to go first, Serge?
I guess the question here is, are they already on the road to become a judge and thus they know the steps and they're looking for like, so you're a brand new judge, here's some tips? Or was the question they want tips on how to become a judge?
Yeah,
So,
I think both from the long form.
It does look like the question was expanded upon. I want to become one and know the rules of the games fairly well, but I'm very nervous about having to make calls on disputes and unclear about situations. Which I think is fair because I think that's a reason why I could probably never be a judge, is because I'm not a fan of confrontation, and there's always that possibility of it in the world of Magic. Probably less so lower down the totem, at your LGS. The chances of that happening are probably pretty low, though it depends on your LGS. They're both kind of shrugging there, but that would be sort of my thing.
I mean, it's less confrontation and more conflict resolution, right? Because you're not often butting heads with people. You're often walking up to a situation where two people are heated already, and you have to diffuse it, right? Because it's pretty rare for a judge call for like nothing to happen and somebody escalates at you, unless you're at a GP and somebody walks into you.
Yeah.
Ooh, zing.
I think the highest level of like the competitive mindset and maybe it's not the highest level for achieving success, but it's like the highest level of grindy, sweaty anger related to competition was the PTQ, which like doesn't even really happen anymore. But it's like the level just before where they kind of start paying you to show up and you feel like you've made it. And everything below that, like, so as it approaches that, it gets more and more like likely to see conflicts between players over rules or over policy. So certainly I want to say at your LGS, you can definitely run into people who are having a heated debate, or they're acting like their life depends on this match of Magic cards, and it can fall on you to, carry the situation forward and resolve it somehow. So yeah, I don't know. Like, it's all right to start off playing regularly at a scene and then trying to get yourself known for knowing the rules without being a judge, and then you'll end up getting called on for that kind of help if there isn't already a judge at the LGS where you play. If there is already a judge at the LGS where you play, then they're going to be your main resource for answering these questions. And then the other thing is, like, a lot has changed since Serge and I started out and become judges. There's Judge Academy now, and the rules for exactly how you get hired and stuff, and the path is different. Although, like, Judge Academy, fantastic resource for new judges and would be or might be judges. It wasn't all kind of laid out in nearly as much detail or as easy to access as it is now in Judge Academy.
Yeah.
So definitely hit that up. But yeah, in terms of just the specific, like, how to feel confident going through your tournament when you don't know all the rules, like, number one thing, this is gonna sound a little stupid or weird or surprising, like, don't give wrong rulings. Like, when you don't know the answer to a question, let the players know.
Yeah.
You can let them know that you're going to go, you're going to need more time and you're going to go and take it. Or you can let them know that you're not entirely sure on this ruling and you don't know what the correct rule should be. And if there isn't time, like, or if some reason you're playing Magic, you don't have access to the internet, or if you're Googling it, like, doesn't successfully get you there in the time that they need to complete the match, you can let them know you're making a decision, and then that might be wrong, but you need to move the tournament along. Like, the tournament organizer will help you at this point.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, like, the main thing is just don't feel like you have to give that ruling in like 2 seconds right when we're at the table. Just tell them you need more time and you're going to leave and come back. That was a huge like level up for me as a judge.
Yeah. I was going to give literally the exact same advice. Judges are humans. You are not expected to have every single rule of Magic internalized and memorized. That's impossible. There's too much of it. So be confident to step away and ask for time.
I mean, I will say, just in general, I think Nelson's advice is true for life.
Yeah.
I think that is something that you will, or at least I found I learned with age, and probably wish, and as most people did, that they would be more willing to say, I don't know, when they were younger. It's probably just one of my biggest piece of advices for anybody. It's just like, if you don't know something, just be okay not knowing it and go figure it out. So,
yeah, and be
like
okay letting the rest of the world know that you don't know. Be okay admitting it to yourself.
Yeah.
And oftentimes at YG or whatever, I'll have conversations with the players before I leave the table where I'm like, yeah, sure don't know what happens when this clone resolves when all these other things are on the table. I think it's this. And then I might ask the players, like, does that sound right?
Yeah.
If if it's a small tournament, they're your only other people that you can talk to. And often the players are a wealth of knowledge. When you're at a GP or whatever, you can just go hit other judges. But yeah,
I'm a very big fan of checking in with the players before you leave too. This is the call. This is how it's going to go. How do you feel about this? Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Because there's an appeal process. I mean, not as much at a local store if you're the only judge, if there's like 12 people there, but at a larger event, there is a chance for people to call you or ask for another judge to come in and double check it. And that's okay too. Don't take that personally. I've had friends at like PTQs specifically appeal my call because historically other people have given a ruling that's more favorable to them.
Right. Wow.
And you're like, okay, that's kind of weird. I think literally Jeremy White pulled that on me one time too, specifically about a bob trigger.
Oh,
I was like, that's a beneficial trigger. Sorry. And they're like, oh, sorry. Sometimes it's actually detrimental trigger and it goes the other way. And I'm just going to try and see if I can get that call. And I'm like, all right, thanks, Jer.
I think Jer might have been playing a PTQ right around when the rules for handling triggers was changing.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing too is like, yeah, the rules are going to change. And so sometimes players will like get into arguments because they know the rules from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like not that long ago, right?
Fair.
So be confident in not knowing stuff. That's totally okay. We're all humans. You're going to do great.
Excellent. All right. Next question comes from Michael. This is for Nelson and I. Since Serge has started a streaming advice podcast, plug, is there one piece of advice or one area about streaming you think you would be vital to have addressed? Nelson?
I've got a good one. Yeah, I'm like I've been a baby streamer for a long time, but I'm right at the beginning of a new baby streamer period for Nelson. More plugging. I'm trying to work on my home stream Mondays and Wednesday mornings at 9:30 a.m. And so I would love to know or have a strong sense of like what's a realistic threshold to aim for in terms of like subs versus time you spend streaming, and like at what point should you expect like, okay, I've hit this hour marker or number of months streamed or any other metric you want to see where it's like I put this much effort and time into it and I'm at this place in terms of reward. Should I expect that I'm near another threshold or anything like that? Does that make sense? Am I?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Although I think a lot of that comes down to, personal, right? Like,
there's a ton of factors, obviously.
It's like, is it reasonable for me to stream 10 hours a week and make, at the end of it, make $100? And it's just like, well, is that what my value my 10 hours a week at sort of thing? Which is, it's also kind of I'd say one of the things that I would say is talking about knowing exactly what you want out of streaming, right? Being really clear and honest with yourself when you start streaming to say, because look, realistically, you're not going to make it big, right?
Sure.
Statistically speaking, you are not going to find a massive audience on Twitch or really anywhere at this point.
Yeah,
it might happen, but it's almost assuredly not going to happen. So
same as the rest of the entertainment business, right?
So being honest with yourself about what you're going to get out of streaming and what you want what you want to get out of it monetarily or just emotionally or whatever, right? Talking about that, I think, is really important.
If I may, episode 1 of Just Streaming Podcast with Fuji. What do you want to get out of streaming?
Yep, there you go.
Nice.
Episode 2 of Just Streaming, monetization and expectations around money.
See, there
Literally
we go.
the first 2 episodes we covered.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about money first, and Fuji's like, I think the most important question for anybody who's getting started streaming is what do they want to get out of it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to answer questions, or pardon me, Nellie's question directly, there is no known correlation between viewers to subs, hours streamed to monetization. It's all over the place,
Right.
and there's no pattern. It's just like it doesn't scale linearly.
No.
It's like the bigger your channel gets doesn't mean that you're like, oh great, I have 10 viewers and 10 subs, which means when I have 100 viewers, I'll have 100 subs. Doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Right.
Like every community is different. Every streamer is different. Some people are extremely generous. Like some people subsist off of 90% gifted subs. Some people, every single person in their community could be subbing. It's all over the place. Absolutely all over the place.
I will say though, it does work out to be consistent within your own community, and it's important to learn those consistencies. After 6 months of streaming, I think you can look back at all of your numbers and say, oh, okay, like there's patterns there. I can see those patterns. And are those numbers, good enough for me to continue to invest my time in this, right? And again, it comes down to what do you want out of streaming? Like, is this trying to be a primary source of income, a little fun money on the side? Do you not care about money at all, and you just want to stream because it's fun and it's a way for you to spend your time and get some enjoyment out of it? So it's a big topic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is something I want to talk about more constantly. I love the meta conversations about streaming and streaming lifestyle. It's such a new industry, and there's so much uncertainty, and there are so few resources for people to look stuff up.
It's also, and it can be tricky to talk about too, because it is so different for so many different people.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It would be, it's one thing to go and listen to Serge and Fuji talk about streaming, because the majority of that information that you're giving and knowledge is coming from your time with us and Loading Ready Run and your own personal home streams and stuff like that. But, somebody like, Shroud,
sure, yeah,
Ninja is going to have a much different experience and speak about streaming in much probably different ways,
Absolutely.
which is, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's
I'm looking
weird.
forward to checking those out.
Yeah. I suppose one last big piece of advice for streaming, especially if you've been doing it for a long time. I mean, the easy throwaway answer is don't let your self-worth be determined by your dashboard.
Yeah.
Like things will naturally fluctuate up and down. And just because things go down doesn't mean you're failing. Things will naturally change. And to that end, the very important piece of advice is don't look at short-term trends. Because even I've been streaming for over 3 years, and I'll see month-long dips and then a climb after something like that. So just because your subs go down or your viewership goes down, look at 3-month trends, look at 6-month trends, look at, the longer the data you can have, the more.
Yep.
Okay, well, I'm going to check out this podcast. So if you don't know about it yet, it's called Just Streaming on YouTube.
Yep.
All right.
Thanks for the plug.
No problem.
All right, let's move to the next question. This is from the Anti-Muffin. Let's say you're going to be a colonist on Mars. Sure. But you have to pack light. You get 10 pounds of non-essential, so not clothes, baggage weight. What's your allotment filled with? I mean, I think the pretty easy, straightforward answer is a tremendous amount of media, right? Like, give me a Kindle, give me a Kindle that's just filled with books. Give me a 1 terabyte iPad Pro that has just, a tremendous amount of movies and television on them, and maybe a Nintendo Switch that has just as many games that you can fit on your little SD card. I think that's probably just the easy answer and the boring answer. So I shall turn to Serge for the funny answer.
So funny thing, we had a real life example of this in Road Quest because we had to
Right,
pack
yep.
extremely light for
Yep.
the excess space in the cars. And you're like, what did you want to bring with you? Ben brought a bunch of commander decks. Bunch of people brought switches. I brought my coffee brewing equipment.
Yep.
And at the end of it, which was kind of funny, was how much downtime did we actually have in hotel rooms?
Oh man,
Right? Like, I don't know how
remember
much downtime you're going to have on Mars.
We had
Commander
none.
decks get out.
Yeah.
The bringing magic was the dumbest idea.
Well,
we
it worked the first night, like the second night. The first
was-
night we didn't have any time. It was the
it was
second
on-
night.
It was on the ferry
Yeah.
off the island.
Yeah.
And it was the second night
In a
and
100
that was
Mile
it.
house or whatever.
Yeah,
and there's
yeah,
all
and
those
that was-
mosquitoes.
That was literally only time we brought out our magic cards.
Yeah.
'Cause
I
there's
don't
just
know
no
how much time we're going to have for stuff like that, right?
No.
So, like, what is maybe an ice pack, right? Maybe something or like a heat pack, something that's a luxury item, but it's also practical. And like the 5 minutes of downtime I have between, I don't know, terraforming space potatoes or whatever I'm going to be, whatever I'm going to be doing on Mars. I don't know how much leisure time I'm going to have there.
I mean, presumably you're going to be working long days, but you still have like downtime. Like, my assumption is I'm going to Mars. I'm a colonist. I'm the first one there. I'm putting in 12 to 14 hour days. I still have a few hours before it's time to sleep to kick back and, watch some Netflix or play some Mario Party or something. I don't know. So I don't know. So
All right.
what you're saying is you're not bringing your coffee kit.
I mean, I'd want to.
I mean, you might as well. I mean, sooner or later, we're going to start, growing coffee beans on Mars.
Unlikely.
We can't have a
unlikely.
What are you talking about? We
We're
can't
gonna
have
be
a colony
colonists.
on
We
Mars.
need to grow coffee beans, Serge.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about how coffee grows?
Grows in the shade.
It grows. I mean, look, if Matt
need to have a whole
Damon,
forest.
if Matt Damon can grow potatoes on Mars
Out of his own poop.
out of his own poop, then I'm sure that you could make coffee work. I'm not saying it's good coffee.
Coffee comes in a can. It was put there by a man in a factory downtown, clearly, right? Like,
Factory downtown Mars.
yeah.
Okay, before next question, I have to alter James's answer. He got through that perfect answer about just bringing the obvious, packing all the media, but didn't mention music. So
Oh.
Yes, I music would I would bring an iPod,
yeah,
like an old school iPod that
little
has
twirly
been
wheel.
modded that has been modded with as much storage space as possible.
I mean,
and
even
give
the
me as
iPad
much
would be
music,
okay.
right?
I think it'd be smart to try to bring backups of those if you could possibly afford it, or at least backup headphones or something, because probably stuff's going to break on Mars.
Yeah.
The other thing I think is a good idea to bring if you are going to Mars. If you're going to Mars, by the way, you're not coming back. That's how I'm assuming it works. It's as
Probably.
colonists, right?
Yeah.
That's what colonists do. They die wherever they're headed.
I mean, my assumption is that I'm dead on the way, so I might as well, enjoy myself by
Just on
by
the plane,
reading some
yeah.
books and listening to
Space
some
is
Zeppelin.
scary, It's
Yeah.
silent and there's rocks moving so fast.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to add also that I think the idea, if you're going to go off to the new world or whatever, is try to bring something that you're curious about and are looking forward to trying to learn how to do, but currently stuck at.
Like knitting or something.
Yeah, you could bring
or the
knitting.
piano.
If you bring a small musical instrument, that's a great one because there's like almost no cap to how good you can get at playing a musical instrument. So if you brought a flute or something, that's a good idea.
Ooh,
or
yeah.
a
maybe
harmonica.
a recorder.
Don't bring a recorder to Mars. Come on.
Harmonica.
Wow, judgy. Dang.
Yeah.
If we bring
geez.
a recorder to Mars, it'll turn out that there are Martian evil overlords because they'll hear us
Yeah.
playing like
You've
September,
doomed us all.
badly on our recorders.
Hold on. That's what I'm playing. I get to Mars with my recorder and I'm playing September.
Mhm,
I'm
yeah.
going Earth, Wind, Fire. All right. I mean,
But like,
let's
there's
go.
3 of you and you're all out of tune, right?
I pictured
No.
James as more of a Girl from Ipanema kind of person as a first song on a recorder.
That is a great album. That would be on my iPod. It's true. Okay, I'm going to take a quick detour break because you talked about your coffee thing, and you have a new coffee thing. And
Oh,
want
I
you to
have a new
quickly-
coffee thing.
And I quickly
do.
want you to explain what it is because
Oh,
I don't know.
I got a Japanese coffee siphon.
Ah.
And if you don't already follow Graham's like G Vlog channel, there's an episode. It's probably one of the I wouldn't say the most viewed because obviously there's like the Game Nights episode and his new Olympic thing. But there's an episode where Graham and I go to a cafe, Seattle Coffee Works in Seattle.
Yep.
And we have Japanese coffee siphon, and it's so cool. It is the most impractical, finicky, fragile coffee brewer I've ever had, which is why they don't get showcased in a lot of cafes because things can go horribly wrong and they're expensive, and I love it so much. I love it so much.
I brought this up because I'm pretty sure the last time that I was on the show was with you.
Yeah.
And you bought a bripe.
I
think
did
like
buy
during
a bripe.
the show.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Literally during the show, I hit checkout on the store there.
And how was your bripe?
Good. Also very impractical. I've used it twice. And I mean, speaking of pumpkin spice lattes, I did try a bripe pumpkin spice latte. That was interesting.
My God.
Yeah. The bripe gets you about 1.5 ounces of liquid. So,
really wakes you up in the morning.
but I mean, this is my curse now. I have so many plans for content now, James. Just wait for an episode where we go into a field somewhere or the forest and I pull out my bripe. Boy, will you all look silly then when I'm having delicious coffee.
So it's a coffee pipe. I'm just Googling real quick here.
Yeah. The bripe, it's brass
Brewing
or copper, whatever that metal is.
All right.
And then you have like a little alchemy kit, a little blowtorch, and you cook your coffee and then you sip it through. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
They're like the two ends of the spectrum of like how minimal can you be with coffee? Like if you literally wanted to have like fresh coffee in the middle of a jungle versus how much like a mad scientist alchemist can you look like while still making coffee? I have it all now.
All right.
All right. Let's move on to our next question. This one is coming to us via Michael. Are there subjects that you could easily listen to the other two speak about for hours?
Yes.
No. Nelson, go ahead.
I could listen to either of you speak about anything you want for hours as long as you take my kids.
Wait, hold on. So,
like, someone else has my kids and my dog, and they're doing all that work. I can just, I'll just listen. It's fine.
Okay.
Nelly just wants a babysitter.
Yeah, Nelly just wants a break.
My other goof answer is no, I can't do anything for hours. I don't have the attention span.
I mean, I think the problem is for me. I don't think there's too many things that I could talk about for hours and feel confident in myself to be able to do so. So it wouldn't surprise me if both of you said no. For me, I feel like I could listen to both of you talk about Magic, especially stuff like Canadian Highlander. I actually run, so Paul is on the other side of the camera right now doing all the tech stuff for this show, and I do it for North 100, and I do it for Tap Tap to Concede as well. But for North 100, I don't play the format. I don't really care, but I sit and listen to every word that those three guys say, including Serge, and it would be including Nelson if he was there. I just find it really interesting because they're super passionate about it. And that's probably the answer, is that I could probably listen to anybody talk about anything that they're really passionate about. So Magic, coffee is super interesting, obviously. And that's probably about it.
I mean, serious really answer. Like? I have cumulatively probably listened to Serge talk about coffee for hours. And I was asking him to tell me about it. And he gave me, like, when Serge and I first met, he was working at a coffee shop, and he had just left another coffee shop where he was the roaster, and he got to give me a tour down there. It was great.
Yeah.
I remember a million years ago, Nelly, when life was simpler, and you were working at YJ, and I was unemployed because I was between jobs.
Yes.
And I wanted YJ to actually open on time. So I'd like drive to your house and pick you up and take you down there, and we'd like open YJ together and just jam Highlander before anyone would walk in.
Yeah, I remember. It's funny. Back in the day, I didn't think that story was so malicious, and now I realize, like, oh yeah, he was just buying me, getting me out of bed in the morning so that
you're being kidnapped
to play Magic with someone.
Yeah,
I had no one to play Magic with, so I'd like swing by Nelly's house. I don't know what time YJ would open if I didn't pick him up. It was
like 10:20 at the latest, right?
I mean,
it opened at 9. No,
the sign says 9. There's no way YJ ever opens.
He's never been open at 9, except when we had our tournament early.
Yeah, and then we'd start going to the parsonage, and we'd just like grab one of the early morning tables and just like jam games of Highlander while eating bagels, and that was super cool.
And Serge press ganged his way into my heart. This is the truth of our friendship.
Look, Nelly was between me and the thing that I wanted to do, which was play Magic, so I had to facilitate.
Katamari rolled me up into his life.
Yeah, that's fair. I think he kind of does that for a lot of people. I don't even remember how I met Serge.
Just kept knocking on your door.
I think he just showed up one day and didn't go away.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think the answer people would expect was like Nelly and I would play Magic or talk about Magic, and then James and I would talk about Minecraft. But specifically, like Hermitcraft and the new Third Life shows, and just sort of theory crafting. If we'd make our own show, like James and I could go back and forth on that for a very long time.
Yeah, I feel like those are. It's interesting because the question is a little interesting when it almost feels like it's asking, I guess, what do you feel like these people, because we're talking about conversations right now, which I think are a little bit different than what maybe the question is getting.
Is it lectures? Do we mean
lectures?
Like
I almost feel like,
what do you have most in common?
Yeah, it's like, what do you feel like this person could actually talk about at length and be good at it?
All right, got it. Music theory from Nelson. This is something we've never actually talked about, but I bet you Nelson would give a fascinating 2-hour talk on the trombone. Or 2-hour performance on the trombone, and you just played me a song. That'd be sweet.
I could probably put something together that's both.
Yeah, and I think James could give me a really interesting, like the new history of music, sort of Alan Cross style conversation, walking me through his record collection. I bet that would be really cool. That's another conversation or speak thing that I've never actually had with either of these people. Wow, music for both of you.
It's interesting. I think it's interesting because I think. When you ask friends this question, I think it's harder because you tend to have a decent amount in common, and you tend to have those conversations back and forth. So I don't think I don't feel like there's anything I can't think of anything that you would want to go do like a TED talk about, right? I don't know. It's weird. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around this question.
We also have the idea of our friends as these fellow entertainers that we feed off of during streams, and we watch their streams. We drop in on each other's home channels and stuff. And it's we have all of these already performance driven understandings of each other. So then to add one to be okay, what is the TED talk that any of us would give? It is kind of a tricky subject, right?
Yeah. Here's the curveball, chat. James doesn't really talk a lot.
It's true.
Yeah. So
I'm pretty quiet.
Desert bus setup, we'll have a 45-minute drive to go pick up a sofa, and it'll just be uncomfortable silence until he turns on the radio. Nelly and I could talk about fluff for hours. I don't think Nelly likes silence.
I'm okay with it. We'll get to a comfortable silence place, Serge. It'll happen.
Okay.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, Serge. It's just it's a nice, comfortable silence between you and I.
It's at least comfortable for James.
Yeah, exactly. By which I mean I don't want to hear you talk. All right. I think we have one more question. Yep. I think we have one more question. So let's move on to that from Andrew. If your co-presenters on this episode were household appliances, what would they be, and what would their advertising slogan be? I mean, I feel like Serge would be a coffee maker.
Okay, sure.
Or a vacuum cleaner.
Or he does like to vacuum.
Likes to vacuum.
I do.
He does like to vacuum. I mean, I also like to vacuum, but not as much as Serge. I don't think I've ever met anybody who likes to vacuum as much as Serge.
I don't know if the viewer at home know this, but sometimes I'll show up at the moon base. And if we have 5 or 10 minutes before our show starts and people are just chatting, I'll just grab the vacuum cleaner and start vacuuming the moon base.
They were literally talking about that on Let's Nope a week or two ago.
And he'll push us out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'd be like, it's dirty.
Aggro.
And people are just in my way. Let me clean.
Yeah. There were 9 people in this room, and then Serge got the vacuum out. And it's cleaner when he's done.
I mean, can we make a coffee vacuum cleaner?
I think a vacuum cleaner that's just to clean up the coffee grounds. That could be.
That's what a coffee siphon is. It's a vacuum extraction method. That's literally what it does.
That's true. Although I do like the idea of a specialized handheld vacuum cleaner to clean up your coffee grounds.
Yeah, and the slogan would be, keep it neat, it's a treat. And then there's a picture of a latte.
Perfect. All right. Serge, done. Nelson, what would Nelson be?
I don't know why, but the first thing that came to mind was a blender.
I owned a juicer for a week.
for whatever reason, I just feel that like
I watched that Netflix movie.
Yeah.
Nelson has to be simultaneously something very practical, but not something that everyone has.
I thought you were going to say really loud too.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, I mean, that would blender checks out.
not quite, because like not everybody has a blender, but the people who have blenders love blenders.
Do they? I have
Blenders
a blender.
break.
I can't remember the last time I used my blender.
But there's the other people who are like, every meal I have is liquid, and I throw like 17 bananas in these smoothies.
Ugh. That's fair.
That's
All
a
right,
big
well-
smoothie.
Okay, so what's the point of this blender? I feel like we gave Serge a very specific thing. There's
There's like
what
a
does this blender
vegan cooking tool that's really popular called a Vitamix.
Yeah.
I think it's also popular just among moms
Vitamix
with
is-
lots
I mean,
of kids.
Yeah, that's
or
just I know what a Vitamix is.
Okay, you know what a Vitamix is. Okay, so
So it's a Nelly mix.
yeah, maybe
Oh,
a Nelly
the
mix.
Nelly mix.
The Nelly
Get all
mix.
your favorite things in there and then make them all louder.
Enjoy all of your favorite things
yeah.
with a straw.
It's a Vitamix, but with a V8.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I had the. Has anyone else seen Red Dwarf? You've probably all seen Red Dwarf.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of like attributing James to being the curmudgeonly toaster. Like not
Sure.
not because the toaster has a few different lines and a few different sort of moods it gets into when the Talkie Toaster is on, and Talkie Toaster's in a couple episodes. But like James as like this toaster that's just like, hey, I made you a bagel. Here you go. It's ready. Come get it. The bagel's here. It's getting cold. Come get your bagel. It's like
Yeah.
he did something nice for you, but he's also kind of mad at you.
Oh, wow.
Ooh. I want to be a toaster that's just a little bit too small for anything that you want to put in it. Like it's just it's like you go out and buy bread, just normal bread
The
at
bread
the grocery
doesn't fit.
store, and it just doesn't quite fit, and it just gets squished just a little bit. And like there's a little part that's burned because it gets angled towards the burners. Or the
Yeah, when you
toasters.
squished it in, it
Yeah.
pushed out and touched it. Wow. So James wants to be helpful in the least helpful way possible.
Yeah, exactly. Although now I do want toast.
I guess the slogan would just be like, I guess. That meme.
just the I guess meme, or just deal
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, no.
Wow. This is I would buy all of these appliances. A single use vacuum cleaner, a toaster that kind of burns stuff in stupid ways because it doesn't fit, and the loudest Vitamix that's ever existed.
Yeah, this kitchen sounds great.
I love it. They're all gonna stay on my countertop and never get used. All right, I think that is all the questions that we had today. So thank you everybody for hanging out with us for this month. The show will be back next month with a brand new set of 3 folks. I don't remember who, but again, if you become a YouTube member or are a YouTube member already, you are the ones who get to ask questions. So keep an eye out for that question post early in October. And yeah, we really appreciate all the support that you give us here on YouTube through the memberships or over at the Patreon at patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun. That's it. Thanks to Serge and Nelly for hanging out today. Thanks to Paul for running all the tech. Thanks to Heather for getting these things up. It's been fun, and we'll see you all later.
Ho,
Bye.
ho, ho, happy podcast. And to all a good see you next time.
Bye for now.